Okay, I hope this is working because it's like flipped on my screen. Just give me 1 minute while I get set up. Welcome. Thank you everybody for joining. Just give me 1 second while I just get set up because I'm not sure if I'm flipped on the screen or not. Just trying to figure that out really quick. Is it working? I'm using a new computer, different computer than I normally do. Nope, it's flipped. Okay, so let me come back on in just a second. Good morning. Good morning, Monica. I'll be right back. Actually, let me just see. Can I just do it like this? If I can. You're sideways, yes. Trying to fix that. I'm on a different setup than I normally use. Okay, I'm excited. I'm just gonna get started because I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this topic today. I have been working a lot with my intermediate coaching group, my expansion group, and this is something that we've been talking about in there. Let me see if I can just move this again. Okay, better. Thank you. You know, it's funny because I've been doing this for a while. You think I would have this kind of down by now, but okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. Okay, so I've been working with my intermediate group for the past year on something that is really going to change your life. I know that there's a lot of things that can change your life. This is truly something that if you grab a hold of this concept, it will work in every single area of your life and improve those things drastically. And I am speaking about the external world, your external, lived experience and so forth. But primarily, what will also be different is that you're going to experience yourself different, which is the cause of experiencing what you're experiencing in your outer worlds. Your inner world changes. So it's not going to be a struggle to make these things happen in your outer world. Your inner world does that for you. So we all know that words are important, right? We've often heard phrases like, your word is your wand, or your words create worlds. This is kind of actually really bothering me. Let me see if I can fix it like this. And so forth. But when we think about those phrases, we hear, okay, I need to watch what I say. And so that turns into, let me consciously be aware of the words that I'm speaking, which is great to a certain extent, right? That's a good starting place, but it teaches you, let me consciously be thinking about everything that I'm saying, and then my life is going to change, or I'll start having different relationships, better relationships, improved communication, and so forth. But there's actually a principle that's not being met when you are consciously just trying to control your speech. Yes, it's a good starting place, but it isn't. You're not getting deep enough, which is why you don't have the results that you want. There's a deeper spiritual principle at play here, and it says, out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. So in other words, we have this thinking that I need to transform the way that I'm thinking so that I transform the way that I speak. But there's another step in there that's often neglected. This is what does not allow the whole process to carry through your nervous system. This is why you can't embody being a certain way. It's why you have to consciously practice doing certain things in order to get the result that you want. And even then, it's a struggle. If you do get it, it takes a long time. And a lot of times you give up before you get the result. This is what's creating these open loops in your life. So when you don't allow the whole process to carry through your body, your nervous system, your actions and behaviors are limited to what you can consciously think about in each and every single moment. You know, we're taking in millions of pieces of information every single day. You're just not consciously aware of them. Your body is filtering them out. You are counting on your, sorry, I just have to adjust, your nervous system to tell you what's important. You're counting on your brain, your reticular activating system. Hopefully you've programmed that correctly. And even then, you're going to fall short. It's because there's things that are not, you're keeping momentum away from you by having your energy leaking out through all of these open loops. You're Okay, so what I mean by open loops, what you could be experiencing in your life is things like signing up for courses but never finishing them, buying books and never finishing them, starting even TV shows and never finishing them. You're not finishing your projects around the house. You want to have a conversation, but you don't feel it's the right time, so you don't initiate it. You start avoiding doing certain things to see if they'll just kind of work themselves out. You're staying in a situationship that is not right for you. You know it isn't right for you, and yet you can't seem to find a way to end it. These kinds of things are literally pulling your life force away from you. You don't even have the option to create momentum, but because these open loops are everywhere. So closing loops, when I'm talking about this, it's not just about the behavior. It's not just about having the conversation or finishing the project or finishing the task. Yes, you need to do that stuff, but finishing the task doesn't actually change who you are, right? It doesn't change the fact that the next time a task comes up, you're likely going to go through this entire system once again. And by the way, if you're a person who struggles with ADHD or ADD, I highly encourage you to look into nervous system work, nervous system reset work. That is likely not, it's not just that your brain is on overload, it's that your body is on overload. Your body is having a hard time processing just normal and everyday tasks. It's because there's a pileup of stuff, likely from your childhood, that has never had the chance to work its way out of your physical body. So, okay, it's not just about closing these things, like checking off your list. It's not just about like getting the course done or having the conversation or doing whatever it is that you need to do. It's about becoming a person of momentum, having the ability to hold to be the container for momentum, regardless of what area of life it's in. There needs to be enough of a self-concept. This is where the first open loop comes in. Most people's self-concept, most people's identities are highly shifting around whatever is happening in their external world. If their external world is great, then they're great. If their external world is having a problem, then they're having a problem as well. I'm going to give you some like a little illustration and walk you through a little story here in just a minute. So if this is not resonating all the way for you, just stay tuned. I'm going to kind of break that down a little bit, but I want to kind of cover a few more things before I get there. So when your self-concept is a closed loop, that is the foundation. Imagine you're building a house. That is the concrete block that you're going to build everything else on. If your self-concept is not finished, think about what would happen if you start building on top of it. You're going to have the option for a lot of stuff to be very shaky, to close in on itself, to collapse whenever something doesn't go right in your external world. And more than that, it's that you didn't develop the tools, the skill set to be able to rebuild that. So when something happens, it collapses and we're kind of feeling super overwhelmed, like there's no way out, I don't know how to fix this, and so forth, right? When when you have a sure self concept, here's what how you know that you have it. You not you believe it thoroughly in your body. I was working with a client several months ago, and she was wanting to start a launch a new course in her business, and we went through some of these exercises that I have, and she could feel resistance in her body. So she wanted to do it mentally. She wanted to do it. She had the desire to do it. She had the ability to manage her schedule well so that she could get everything done. And yet, when she thought about launching this course, she felt resistance in her body. You are not in alignment if that's happening. Resistance is always showing you there's something here that does not add up. I'm not in complete agreement with myself, and yet I'm trying to create this in agreement thing externally. So in your mind, there's no doubt. In your body, there's no resistance. When you say something, you feel it being able to move through. It's a free flowing idea or concept. There's no resistance to it whatsoever. A person of momentum also easily accomplishes things. These people have 50 million things going on, and yet they're doing it all with ease. Not only are they doing it with ease, they're enjoying doing it. This is because their self-concept is sure. They learned how to build the first layer. They learned how to build the second layer. And now it's just a rinse and repeat formula for them. There's no energy leaking out anywhere. They've learned how to close these loops and how to use that momentum to help them grow whatever their vision is at that moment. They do things with excellence, also easily. This is not a struggle to like look at a checklist and say, did I do this? Did I do that? Did I do this step? How about this step? They're not second doubting themselves like that. They're not questioning their ability and the work that they're putting forth, because there's no resistance to it. It's coming from a place of deep centeredness and also of deep desire. They love the things that they are putting their hands to. There's even if things come up in the natural, I do want to say this, even if things externally come up. So let's say something gets delayed, but it's not on their end. Something, the plan isn't going according to plan, but it's not because they didn't plan right. It's not because they missed a deadline or they didn't do something. It's somebody else's part of the puzzle, right? That doesn't come into play. You'll notice that for them, they can do that and kind of be in this waiting while also still progressing as if that thing is already done. They don't let that thing is not the excuse that they use to hang up the rest of their life on. I also work with a lot of people who use any kind of thing, right? The narcissist is doing something, or I've got this meeting with my boss, or I've got this and this and this. There's resistance there, and either they don't have the skill set to communicate, hey, I don't feel like I want to do this, or this is not something that I can allocate time and energy to. So they either lack the communication skill set or they lack the self-concept, meaning I want to people please. I want to say yes to everything, and so I can't say no. And so instead, I'm going to give you the runaround, and I'm going to use all of these other things that other people didn't do as the reason that I can easily outsource this stuff. That's one negative example, but I also want to say people who lack a closed self-concept do this with positive things as well. I will tell you, I've seen a lot of people use religion and God as this. Well, if it's God's will, God will show me. If God wanted me to have that, he would bring it to me. If God wanted me to be rich, he'd give me money. If God wanted me to do this, and it's a very easy way to say, I'm not going to take responsibility for this, and I'm okay with leaving an open loop here. I'm okay with not living my fullest life because I don't want to take responsibility. That responsibility feels super overwhelming. Nobody ever taught me how to take responsibility there, how to act out that thing. And I'm feeling extreme amount of resistance to that. But luckily, God's here and available, and I'll just push that onto His plate. So again, there is a spiritual principle at play here. There's several spiritual principles at play that are coming into why this happens. And I am covering these in a new 3-day course. It's called Sacred Speech. Again, a lot of people think your speech is your words. You need to pay attention to your words. And I am telling you, it's much deeper than that. And once you understand how to create the intention that's in alignment before you say something, before you even think things, right? Because your speech is also the way you talk to yourself. You're often talking to yourself quietly without using your mouth, right? There's words happening in your head. That's also speech. You're also either cleaning, you're purifying, or dirtying the waters that your vocal speech is going to come through. And I teach you how to become a person of momentum in this new course. I'm so excited about this. Again, this is something that I covered about 1.5 years ago in my expansion, my intermediate group coaching container. And once we got this down to where everybody's nervous systems, where everybody's belief systems were not keeping them from the things that they wanted, their ability to generate whatever outcome they wanted just has skyrocketed. So this is going to start on August 15th. My course is going to be, it's a 3-day live event. Replays are going to be available. There's bonuses for people who sign up prior to August 11th. It's only $44. If you've never worked with me, this is a great way to get acquainted with my coaching style and really do some basic level work on yourself that often is overlooked. Another thing, so I'm going to move on now and talk to you a little bit about, I'm going to give it to you in an illustration, okay? A little story, if you will. I want to talk to you about the concept of scarcity. And in my illustration, we're going to call this Scare City. I'm going to cover this super in depth in my new course in Sacred Speech, but I just want you to, for a minute, imagine that you're on a journey. You're at the beginning of this journey, and at the beginning, you know that you are unlimited. You know that you have unlimited resources. You have unlimited health. You have unlimited connections and relationships. Energy levels, everything that you would ever need, everything that you would ever desire, you know it's unlimited. This is the start of your journey. And you're going through life, you know that this is all available to you. And as you continue on this journey, you run into unfamiliar terrain. And you come into Scare City. Scare City is a place where there are dilapidated buildings. Things look like they have been neglected for a long period of time. And when you look around, because you come from a place of overwhelming abundance, of true wealth, you look around and you are wondering how you can transform this city. You see a lot of opportunity here. You see ways that, the landscape all around you, the people all around you could be improved or transformed, and you just see the possibility. But you lose track of where you're going. You take a few wrong turns, and before you know it, you start doubting whether or not you can actually get out of Scare City. You start believing that this is the end of the road, right? It wasn't just one thing, it was the next thing. It was not just one wrong turn, it was 20 wrong turns. And now you spent a long time in Scare City, and you are letting the Scare City outward, the dilapidated, falling apart, the things that need a lot of love and attention, get inside of you. You're starting to think about yourself in the way that you are looking at this outer world now. You start thinking, I don't know that I can get out of here. I don't know that this can be fixed. I don't know that there is a solution. and you are just unsure that there is any way out of this situation. This is what happens to people, and it's even worse when you're not honest with yourself. When you're looking at dilapidated buildings, but you're saying, there's nothing wrong with that one, it's totally fine, let's go live there. When you don't take an accurate account of where you are, and I covered this in my previous video that I did live last week, the importance of taking an accurate account, not where you think you are, but where you actually are, right? This is so important. We understand this in basically every realm of life except for when it comes to our own inner work, because we believe that we've done the things, right? But if you're just focusing on doing the things, you lose track of who you actually are. When you lose track of who you actually are, you lose your sense of self and influence that you have over your external world. Again, please go watch my last live video because I really covered that in depth and why you need to understand how the world is a mirror. You really need to understand that because too many people are trying to change the reflection without changing the original object in the reflection, right? Okay, so back to my story of scarcity. The longer you're there, the longer scarcity moves into every area of your life. So it's no longer just you doubting yourself, you're doubting those that you came in the city with. It's no longer you doubting those people. You start a few projects here and there, and before you know it, your finances are all gone. You don't know where your money went. You don't understand how to not only manage the money you have, but create more, generate more. Now you're feeling tired all the time. You're feeling like you are just not sure about, where did all of my resources go? You lost the original vision that you had before you got into the city, right? So you've allowed your outer environment to transform who you are and how you see yourself and what you view to be your possibilities. What are your opportunities in front of you as well? This is the importance of understanding what true transformation is. It cannot just be monitoring consciously your actions, monitoring consciously all of the time your words, even monitoring consciously your thoughts. While these are good tools and a good kind of starting point, it can help you really see who you are. It helps you get an accurate reflection of where you are currently. It does not help you truly transform because it doesn't go deep enough. It doesn't go down far enough. When you're building a skyscraper, you know that the foundation actually has to be dug very, very deep. You can't just build on the flat surface. It has to have the weight has to be equally distributed. And so again, you might be doing all the things. You're going to therapy, you're going to the gym, you've hired a trainer, you've hired a coach, you're counting your calories, whatever your goal is, you're doing the things, but you're not a healthy person, right? You're a person who goes to the gym versus being a healthy person. You're a person who goes to church versus is actually a believer, right? These differences need to be addressed because it's the reason that your energy is leaking. It's the reason that you cannot create momentum. It's because you're consciously having to put your hands and your mind, your thoughts onto every single thing that you're touching instead of just allowing it to flow natural. This is just one example, right? This is just one example. I want to give one more example. I was sitting in the sauna the other day, and there's somebody in there who's always in there at the same time that I'm in there. And, she explained to me that she, feels like she's detoxing and this and this and this, but she doesn't understand that you need to take a binder before you go into the sauna, or those toxins that are coming out are actually they're not binding to each other to find a way out of your body. You're sweating out just your normal electrolytes and water. So it's doing the things, but you're missing a part. It's the loop here is not closed. The entire picture is not together. So this is just, again, just an example of one of the many things that we're going to cover in sacred speech. I put the link, I believe the link is in the description of this video, although I was having some issues getting on, as you can see from my video. But if it's not in there, I'll put it in there as soon as I'm done with this live. Um, when you can put that one piece of information in there, when you can find that one thing that really closes each of your loops, you're not only going to be able to do the task or have the conversation or, see the opportunity, invest the money, whatever it is for you, you're going to be able to reproduce that non-consciously, without effort, without it straining you so much to just take that one next step or to finish that one last piece. It helps create and solidify the your self-concept or your identity, so that you become a person who always finishes their tasks, or always just is naturally healthy, like it just becomes a healthy person. Not instead of somebody who does this, this, and this, right? I go to the gym, I eat healthy, I, watch my sound diet, my imagery diet. You don't have to consciously think about those things. It's just something that doesn't even come into your awareness. Last year, I think it was, I also did a video really quick here. I want to let you know there's a difference between lack and scarcity. And I did a video on that, so you can go look at that, because you will run into times where you are walking through a scarcity, and you need to know that that's just part of the journey, but that doesn't have to get into what you're doing. Hi, Sarah. Thank you for joining. My assistant just popped in. You don't have to allow what you see externally to become who you are internally, okay? Because that becomes like a real, it doesn't just become that moment of scarcity, it becomes a real situation of lack. Just like a situation of abundance is everywhere, a situation of lack is also everywhere. Okay, so I think that'll be enough for today. I had a few more points, but maybe I'll come on next week. This video is really bothering me because I couldn't figure out how to get it to go the other way. So I'll come live again next week. I'll be talking more about this 3-day live experience. There is going to be something special happening during those 3 days, which maybe I'll talk about closer to, or maybe I'll just let it be a surprise. But you don't want to miss it. If you've never worked with me, again, this is a great opportunity to do that because it's so inexpensive monetarily. It will challenge you. You have to pay in addressing your own resistance, which I will walk you through and teach you how to do that. But anyway, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I, as always, say this with so much love, so much hope for each of you and what you can turn your life into. You can intentionally create the world that you're living in. You should be intentionally creating your world. You were created to do that. You naturally were created to do that. You just have to remember. You have to go back to the very beginning and remember that you are a person of abundance. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I will see you all in sacred speech. And you can also email me or DM me if there's any questions. So, all right, bye.